Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for July 28th through August the 3rd. These are the very best comments from that time period. First off, we have the 3 almost honorable mentions coming to us from Art Bell, Arioka, and Juliet India Mobile. The first of 3 honorable mentions comes to us from ServeBot42. This may sound strange, but I call this a Chad move. Women these days will go on dates with men mainly to get free food and never contact the man again, unless he got deep pockets. I have heard stories from other channels like Better Bachelor where men get back at women for this. I'm not saying this is Paul, but there are some stories where the girl will order expensive food and be on her phone. The man, real men, won't take this shit, so they'll be asked to be excused. And instead of taking a shit, they ditch the girl and block their number. Others would go to the counter, tell the clerk their story, and only pay their share, not the woman's. Again, not saying Paul is red-pilled, but it's pretty clever what he did. Besides, dinner or lunch in this day and age is a bad date. You only go out for a drink/coffee, and you show up early and order your cup first, so it's implied she needs to buy hers when she gets there. Yes, it sounds stingy, but the old days where women appreciate the gesture of getting lunch is long gone. Now it's just a free lunch and a small conversation so it doesn't sound like a handout. Next honorable mention comes to us from Wolfpack1. What's considered trolling is subjective to each person individually. Some YouTubers tend to drop the threshold to a point that allows them to claim everyone and every disagreeing person is a troll. I've been viewing Rick's videos before the time that he had the video wrongfully taken down to 2019, and I still to this day haven't heard Rick troll anyone or direct anyone to troll anyone else. Plus, there are also very few trolls here compared to other channels. Trolls are going to exist regardless how you conduct your channel, but you can minimize the amount by having well thought out responses. You can also accept it, reflect on whether what was said holds any value, and move on. Chalk it up as maybe someone's just angry or angry at me, or it's possible someone maybe just doesn't like me. It's okay, everyone. Not everyone has to like everyone and be nice. It's not a big deal. Humans are all imperfect, and we can't stand people for various reasons. Everyone is guilty of anger, and for no reason, like how sometimes we just can't stand someone's stupid face or voice. Also, YouTubers need to stop using the word attack when saying someone is attacking them via YouTube comments. Dumb YouTube comments are not attacks, even if they're mean-spirited. Real attacks implied you in some way, shape, or form. Real attacks have the immediate possibility of causing physical harm to you. Virtual harm to your ego is not, and think nothing of them, and remove the comments that can cause them harm to people via dangerous especially. Wait. I fucked up, Wolfpack. I fucked up, and I'm just going to keep going here. My apologies here. I'm trying to get through this and trying to get through comment of the week, so I skipped a line. So we'll restart this. Okay. By the way, did I mention I'm trying to go ahead and rush through all of the year's comment of the weeks, before the end of the year so I can do comment of the year? Okay, so my apologies for some quality problems on these. Okay, I'm just really trying to rush through these. Real attacks have the immediate possibility of causing physical harm to you. Virtual harm to your ego is not an attack. Instead of screaming, "Trolls are attacking me!" just move on from those troll comments and think nothing of them and remove the comments that can cause harm to people via dangerous misinformation. Keep it radical, Rick. As long as you hold on to values consistently, in good times and especially in the worst of times, when it's hard to do, you can walk with your head held high. As long as a man stands by his word and refuses to be hypocritical or contradictory, no one can truly harm him via the words or comments on the internet. And the last honorable mention comes to us from Abel Diaz Urbina. If a questionable person were to win comment of the day/week, I really wouldn't care. I wouldn't give too much energy into people's personal and internet lives, but that's just me. I think an awesome comment deserves to be recognized in its own right. Lastly, the only time I support Patreon is for things like guitar tabs. There are some YouTubers that post videos of them playing their musical arrangements of popular songs for guitar that they then make accessible to the public via Patreon. Maybe you see them as greedy Patreon guys, but these I generally see as someone buying a guitar tab/arrangement from a player. I'm not sure about the legality that goes into this issue though, like if a song is owned by Nintendo and someone makes a musical arrangement for it, maybe they're not allowed to sell their interpretation of it, but I guess they are still doing it through Patreon. Ugh. I'm not much for the rules on these, but anyways, those are the only Patreon accounts I would consider supporting, ones where I gets a guitar tab from. I definitely don't support e-beggars, that's why I unsubscribed from Nintendo Prime. I noticed he would increase his subscriber base by having video game giveaways, and all you had to do was join the giveaway was subscribe, like the video, and turn on all notifications. I thought that was a cheap trick from him. I paid attention to his channel, and he would go up in subscribers for a while, and once the giveaway was over, he would lose subscribers, then start another giveaway. Repeat the endless loser cycle. But I'd like to know your opinion on this, Rick. Do you think supporting Patreon for guitar tab/sheet music is a legitimate way to use Patreon, or is that still off the table? P.S. The guitarist YouTube that comes to mind does this practice is Sam Griffin Guitar. In my opinion, he is good at guitar. Thank you, Abel Diaz Urbina, and the other honorable mentions and almost honorable mentions. But now we move right along into the medal ceremony. Starting out with the bronze medal, we got Wolfpack 1. If you like trim, the cologne you want to get is called Fahrenheit by Christian Dior. Women love it. Canadian Gamer has a double standard when it comes to people showing their face. At one time I praised him and let him know his content was good, and his topics are somewhat different than other run-of-the-mill YouTubers. He was so willing to welcome in the compliments and praise it at that time. I then made a statement about a 100% true fact that he deletes much of his content. His response was that since I don't post my face on YouTube, my statements and opinions are null, void, and not legitimate, as well as I'm the biggest YouTube shit disturber. Laugh out loud, that's just silly. What does someone's personal appearance have to do with the validity of their statements? I care about how I look to the women I actually meet in the real world. I don't care for or need any approval and praise on YouTube. Canadian Gamer just wants a safe space where only positive feedback is allowed. He wants a place devoid of trolls that are going to try to mess with anyone they can, regardless of how you conduct your channel. Even when YouTubers are unfair and throw around false accusations, which Rick hasn't done to my knowledge, it's still not an attack if you ask me. You can just brush it off and not give two fucks about it. An attack would be something you can't ignore and would have to affect you physically and not virtually. You got a honorable mention, I think, also, right? I think you and, well, I'm not, okay, I don't want to give anything away as to a future medalist coming a little later here. Two things. And there's a lot I could reply to here, but I think I'll choose two things. The first thing, talking about Fahrenheit by Christian Dior. I haven't tried that one, but I will tell you, and any of you that are still out there on the hunt, okay? Or maybe if you're married, and you want to spice up the relationship, right? Okay, I'm looking at some scents here. The one that let me down was, damn it, it's the one. Yeah, I forget who made it, but the one, it's called the one. That one let me down, okay? To the point where, females just really don't seem to smell it that much. One that does okay is the Platinum Coach, okay? I've had some good luck with that one. But the one that I have been asked about, females have asked me, what was you wearing the other day, right? The one that I got here is the, I forgot what it's called. It's Mont Blanc, not intense, there's an intense version, but Mont Blanc, what is it? I forget. It's black and it's got the chrome top. Here's what I'll do. I can't remember, and I'm trying to do this in one take. I can't remember which one it is. So I'm gonna, at the end of this, have that cologne collection. All right. So if anyone wants to see that and know what I'm talking about, just know it's that one right there. And I might try to get this Fahrenheit also. That one. Yeah, I've got some responses from that one. And that is definitely a trim assistant, I will say. Secondly, you say that no one can attack someone with words. I don't agree with that, Wolfpack One. I mean, I know what you mean by what you say, but I think there can be a level where people can attack someone with words. And I'll reference someone that just commented on my, had a video on Low Tier God. And if this is true, it's very disturbing. Apparently, Low Tier God is telling people in his live streams that maybe just don't agree with him. People not being really that rude at all. He's telling some of these people to kill themselves. That's pretty fucking low. Okay? And, you know, what's particularly disturbing about that is you have a lot of people that they're not in a good way. Especially a lot of people that donate to a lot of these YouTubers. Let's just be honest here. A lot of these people are very vulnerable. So it's one thing to be a jackass and an asshole like Low Tier God is, but to stoop to that level of actually telling people to kill themselves, yes, I would classify that as a type of attack, you know? And also, one thing that came up, I think relating to Cyberpunk 2077, I think there was a joke in the game, has something to do with, there's a reviewer that was reviewing the game, and what's that called when you see flashing lights and you have you go into like what do you call it, conniption fits, or I'm bad about remembering things. I don't know, and I haven't been drinking a lot tonight. It's just I'm really sleepy. Seizures, yeah, seizures. And there's a part in the game, and I don't have the game. Maybe some of you can tell me about it. And this is a warning to people that are going to get Cyberpunk 2077. Apparently, there's a part in the game where you can get seizures. Well, this person that was reviewing the game actually had a seizure. And what happened is, I think they mentioned that. I don't know if they gave the game a really bad review, but they mentioned that. And a lot of people were actually tweeting to her things that she would click on that would cause her seizures. So literally, you know, that's definitely something that can be used to attack people that are very sensitive to seizures. Okay? So, yeah, just want to give that warning out there to anyone that's thinking about getting Cyberpunk 2077 that is prone to seizures. Okay? Thank you, Wolfpack One. Next up, we got with the silver medal, Tidruzas. I was tempted to do this once. Backstory. I had been talking to this girl off and on. Okay, this is not anything that you were trying to do that she didn't agree with. Oh, it's not that kind of comment. Okay, it's different. Okay. Off and on, and had asked her to go to dinner with me. She had other plans, so she couldn't that weekend. Well, 2 weeks later, she texts me, "Hey, we're still wanting to get dinner sometime." Sure. Okay, maybe at 7. So we met up at O'Charlie's. It's not as good as it used to be. I wonder if that's like, is that going to be their tagline? Yeah. O'Charlie's. It's not as good as it used to be. Having a good time, we're wrapping up dinner, and I asked what else she had in mind. If she wanted to catch a movie or something, she tells me she already has plans to meet up with some of her friends at 9, and then asks the waiter for a menu. She wants to order some dessert or something to go for her daughter. It was at that point I figured out that she was just fishing for a free dinner. So after she makes the go-to order, I ask how she wants to split the bill. She gets all flustered and starts picking envelopes out of her purse with a few dollar bills in them here and there. Now, mind you, I have had just a few thoughts when it comes to paying for dinner. If I invite someone to go to dinner, I plan to pay for us both. If I get invited to dinner, I plan to pay for myself. That way, it always works out. So after she goes through her purse, she says, "You know, you invited me to dinner." So I said, "Yeah, 2 weeks ago. You were busy. Then you hit me up a couple hours ago. Plus, you're ordering takeout for your kid." So she agreed to pay for her kid's dinner and the dessert she ordered to go. I paid for her dinner. No big deal. At that point, I was happy to have her out of my hair. No trim is worth that amount of tom-dickery. A few months later, I found out she's friends with a buddy of mine. She was dating one of his friends. Turns out that once she learned he wasn't rich, she gave him the runaround. I got back in touch with her, fully intending to meet back up for lunch, fully intending to pull a dine and dump her with the bill. But after texting back and forth with her for a few days after we got back in touch, she got really annoying really quick. Wasn't worth the time. Revenge rarely is. Let me take a guess here to Drusus. Was she very attractive? You know? The thing is, if a woman is very attractive, and they know this, if a woman is very attractive, they can oftentimes be annoying. You know? They can oftentimes expect certain things. Okay? But they got a window. They got a window to where that's really acceptable, and they have like a tier of man that they can have, basically. You know, I would say it's a stretch paying for their child's food. It's a stretch, okay? Because, I mean, that's not your kid, right? And that's one reason I personally try to avoid dating single mothers. And the more children they have, you know, the more issues that might come up. That's just personally what I try to avoid too. Now, I'm not saying that I won't date single mothers. I have before. But in the instances where I've dated single mothers, it's kind of expected that, hey, you know what? That's their kid. That's their kid. It's never going to be your kid, right? You don't want a situation and a scenario to where you start paying for their kid, and then, you know, the father shows up and he gets mad that you're paying for the kid because that's his kid. You know, it can get really muddy, right? But I'm not going to talk about like all the pitfalls that you can get, you know, when you date a woman that has kids. They always say it's a package deal, right? It's not that great of like a package though for the man, unless maybe you love kids, or maybe you have kids or you have a single kid and you want some kids to play with your kid and everything. I just don't know. Like, about the dine and dash though, and about the revenge. You said it wasn't worth the time. Revenge rarely is. I think there's many times where in the moment you feel slighted and you feel like, hey, you know what? I need to get revenge for this person. I need to get revenge on this person. But the thing is, if it is revenge, then it needs to be done in a way to where they actually do learn a lesson, and they do take that lesson with them. You know, the kind of revenge people usually get, though, like, oh, I hate that person, I'm going to slash their car tire. That's not getting revenge on the person. It's not helping. It's not helping them become better people, right? So the best way to get revenge on a person, ultimately, though, here's the thing, and I'll leave it here, right? To Drusus, the ultimate revenge is having a good life. Think about that. The ultimate revenge is moving on, having a great life. And let's say a girl wronged you. Here's what you want to do. Get yourself a girl that's far better than her. And let that person know that you're with somebody that's far better than her. Right? So that's the best revenge there can be. I remember one instance to where, and I didn't date her that long, but I wondered why this girl made me go with her to a specific rental place. It was a movie rental place, right? And she made me go there to rent a movie. And then she was like a little sad that a certain person didn't work there. And I'm thinking, okay, this is probably an ex-boyfriend. So she wanted to show me off to the ex-boyfriend, you know, kind of like a trophy piece, right? So I got that. And ladies, if you listen to my female listeners, sometimes a guy will actually try to do that, you know, which I think is always, it can get interesting if an ex and a current person meet each other. I'll just say that, right? To Drusus, thanks for the comment there, but you know what? You didn't make it. You almost made it to Drusus, but the shiny, shiny gold medal, it comes to us from Arioka. In my humble opinion, Patreon is a cancer on YouTube, and I practically unsubscribe from most channels with it, especially the ones that cannot justify its use, like Happy Console Gamer, where the quality has been stagnant for years, and the content is extremely redundant. In many cases, some channels became worse after adopting Patreon and no longer even produce videos, but are still collecting money like Alpha Omega Sin. I started analyzing who were the shadiest content creators on YouTube by going straight to their Patrons and seeing how much they were asking for and how many simps spent their hard-earned money on them. For example, I never watch Top Hat Gaming, but I don't really have to. All I need to do is go to his Patreon page and see that he asks for a maximum amount of $20 a month and currently has 483 patrons. MGR is an example of someone I used to watch and now has 521 patrons and a max membership of $10 a month. In comparison, another creator I didn't even know existed but became known to me after we learned that he taught John Hancock how to false copyright strike channels is Barnacules Nerdgasm. He has 751 patrons supporting him and has the audacity to have a $100 membership option to get absolutely nothing more than what the dollar tier offers, and writes the following: "Let's be honest, you get most of the same perks with a dollar donation as you're just doing this because you're awesome ass person and as fortunate to have enough money to spread the love and help a guy and his family out in exchange for some fat jokes and funny videos. Do not select this tier unless you can throw the money down the toilet otherwise. It makes me sad to know I put any financial strain on anyone. All these e-beggars hide how much money they make each month in donations via Patreon. In comparison, Dreamcast Guy has only 33 patrons with the max level of $5 a month and is receiving $77 a month, so at least he's more transparent and, I can't believe I'm writing this, being truthful and showing us how much he gets in donations. Last but not least, I used to watch a gaming review channel called ACG, Angry Centaur Gamer, who's actually a good reviewer, but I got really tired of him constantly promoting his Patreon, saying that his videos are getting demonetized, and without donations he wouldn't be able to survive, as if he was a small channel. Angry Centaur Gaming has 684,000 subs, and a lot of views and channel interaction, but that's not enough for him, so he has a Patreon with a max membership level of $300 a month. He's actually able to manipulate people and pay him that much and make these fools work for him for free, helping him on a weekly podcast. He takes advantage of viewers who actually think he's a big deal and idolize him. All e-beggars are awful scammers, but the people who give them money to these internet strangers are equally pathetic." A couple things about that was shocking. I did know Dreamcast Guy only had, 33 patrons with a max level of $5 a month. But, the level of patrons, the amount of patrons is not that, it's the tier. Oh, $5? Like, that's the highest tier? That's not that bad compared to other people you mentioned. Barnacules Nerdgasm, $100 membership tier. You compare that to the channel sometimes, don't you all? You compare the Patreon tiers to the channel content. I think that's fair, okay? People that come here, Arioka, some people come here, they're for Patreon, some people come here, they're against Patreon, I think everyone can agree, you look at the channel. You look at the channel and what they're asking on the Patreon tiers compared to actually what you're getting. And you bring up Alpha Mega Sin, that fucker still has some patrons, and he doesn't even upload anymore. So I bring that up and I say, we know the idea that Patreon is, for these channels connected to their channels. No. It's just an extra income. That's all it is. In 99.9% of cases, it's just an extra income. They just want the money from you as opposed to, ad revenue or sponsorships. They just want the money directly from you. For what? Their hobby videos. And when it comes to Dreamcast Guy, my issues I've had with him is just the fact that he lies and plays a fake character. But when it comes to transparency, he actually is transparent on how much money he makes on Patreon. So yeah, this makes me rethink a lot of things, when I'm actually just like classifying a lot of these individuals that we criticize here. So it makes me do a double take when I really think about it. $300 a month. That's the highest tier for Angry Centaur Gaming. And you said he's actually mentioned about the adpocalypse and demonetization. Okay. Here's a hot take. What if Angry Centaur Gaming is actually far worse, ultimately, than someone like a Metal Jesus Rocks? I know a lot of you might be shocked to hear me say that, but think about it. Think about it right now. Metal Jesus Rocks, for everything we've talked about, concerning him, the basement leak, the $50,000 bus tour, all that kind of stuff, the limited run games, the, Bird King, right? You can make an argument this Angry Centaur Gaming is far worse of an e-beggar than Metal Jesus Rocks. That is fucking shocking, Arioka, and that is a great gold medal. Stay radical.